Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Made You Book. My name's Gretchen and today I'm going to talk about the 6 books that if I were ruling the Booker Prize world, I would have be on the shortlist tomorrow. These are going to be those 6 books that I enjoyed the most and that I feel are the most Booker quality. Now, I did put a video out yesterday of the 6 that I think are going to make it through, but what I think and what I want are 2 different things. So just in case you haven't seen the video and you want to know my official predictions, they are Western Lane, A Study for Obedience, The House of Doors, Old God's Time, Prophet Song, and The Bee Sting. So those are the ones that I think will make it. Now, of course, when we're talking about the books that I want to make it, I will be fully transparent and say that there are still 2 books that I have not read yet. So I kind of did not include those because it's not fair, because I have no I have no skin in that game because I haven't read them yet. So I will eventually read them. Time just got away from me, and there will be individual reviews coming out for those as well. And I literally just finished Prophet Song and A Study for Obedience today, and I have not done videos for those 2 yet either. So even though the shortlist is being announced tomorrow, there are still 4 more Booker book videos of reviews coming out. Regardless of those books making it to the short list, I still want to do videos for those, just in case you are interested in reading them or you did read them and just want to see what somebody else's opinion was. So to get to the meat and potatoes of this video, I want to talk now about the ones that I think have enough merit on my end, from my personal opinion, to make it to my shortlist, because I thoroughly enjoyed the reading experience of these books. Now, these are in no particular order, I don't think. I would actually be interested to go through and kind of rate. I know what my favorite one was, but as far as the other 5, I don't actually have an official ranking of them. So I'll just kind of grab them and walk through what I think that list will be. So this is overlap from the original video, Old God's Time. I had such a good time with this book. I found it to be interesting. I found it to be suspenseful. I found that it hit a lot of my emotions. It was about bleak subject matter, but it was done in a way that I think gave a lot of respect to that subject matter and the victims of it. So I really think that this is a great book. If you haven't read it, I would recommend it, knowing that there are trigger warnings to it, because it does have a lot of things that, you know, could be triggering for some readers. So check up on those if you haven't already. But this is going to be one of my 6 that I would love to see on that list tomorrow. Now, another one that is also from that list that I posted yesterday is Prophet Song. So I just finished Prophet Song today, and I don't want to say too much about it because I haven't done a video for it yet, but I think that this definitely has the potential of making it to the list. And I will do a video regardless, like I said, and talk about the reasons that I liked this book and I put it on my list of 6. Next, I told you that I didn't have a specific order, but I was going to tell you my favorite, and it's probably no surprise. It's The Bee Sting. I love this book. I think that not only will it make it to the official shortlist, I think that this is the winner. I think it's the winner. There are just so many good things about this book, and it seems to be the book that everyone is talking about as far as the Booker list goes. And I think that that just speaks volumes to what an amazing book this is, and what an accomplishment this novel was for Paul Murray, and he deserves the prize in my opinion, of course. But yeah, absolutely love this. I hope to see it on the list, and I hope to see it win. Now, the other three, these were not original predictions. I unfortunately don't think that these books are going to make it, but hopefully maybe I'll be wrong, and I'll be surprised. Now, of course, like, we all make these videos in jest because there's really no science behind it. And it's basically just that gut feeling as a reader that I have. But who knows what that list is going to look like. I could be completely surprised, and none of my predictions were right. Looking at the long list, which is obviously harder to predict, I only got one, and I did a ton of research. Well, but at least this time I'm only having 13 to choose from. So by the law of averages, I should at least get one right, maybe. I don't know. I could pick 6 of the 7 that won't get shortlisted as on my list, but I don't see that happening. So I know I'll at least get some. But the personal experiences that I had with these next 3 books made me want to put it on my list, even though I don't think that the judges are going to choose them. The first one is Pearl. Oh, I just loved Pearl. I think that it was a beautiful little book. I think that this book did for me what Western Lane did for so many other readers. I know that I had a very unpopular opinion about Western Lane, and what I wanted from that book, Pearl delivered on. So I would love to see this book on the short list, but I think, like I said, Western Lane may make it over this one, just because of so many people loving it, and how quiet Western Lane was in comparison, where this book was kind of in your face. Everything it was trying to say was there, and with Western Lane, you had to work a little harder as a reader to get that, and I think that's more of what the Booker Prize is maybe looking for, but loved this regardless. The next one, so actually, not the next one, the next 2. I had a really hard time choosing the next 2, and solely based on the fact that I didn't 100% get along with everything about these books. Overall, I did have a positive reading experience with them, but kind of knowing what I do now after I have read them and seeing other people's reviews, and also getting comments from my subscribers and viewers that kind of pointed some things out to me, I will say that my initial excitement about these books maybe has waned a little bit, and maybe they were potentially overhyped a little bit, but it doesn't change the fact that I still really enjoyed these books, and that as a reader, that's what I care about. How did that book make me feel during that reading experience? Are these books that I still think about? Do they still trigger the same feelings and emotions that I had during that reading process? And when I was looking at the rest of the list, the answer is yes. Like, I still find merit in these books, and looking at all of the ones that I have read, with the 2, like I mentioned, that I did not have a chance to read yet, so they're excluded, and those were in that book was The Little Bird Hearts and How to Build a Boat, which I have not read. these are the other two books left from the list that I enjoyed the most. So the first one of those is In Ascension. Now, I know there are a lot of people that did not get along with this book, but I just think that I think it was interesting. I'm not a sci-fi reader, so it was really nice to kind of dip into that genre a little bit, and it's actually kind of inspired me to put some more sci-fi heavy books on my TBR, and I enjoyed it. I know that there were a lot of readers that do lean more or have read deeply into the sci-fi genre that didn't think that this book was doing anything special, and I can totally appreciate that. But as a non-sci-fi reader, I actually took a lot out of this book, and I think that it's kind of a nice stepping stone to get into the genre, and I appreciate the fact that it made it to the list and kind of forced me to read it because I may not otherwise have read it, and I just enjoyed the experience, and I would love to see it make that shortlist when it's announced tomorrow. And last but not least, my final personal pick for the Booker Prize 2023 shortlist is This Other Eden by Paul Harding. Once again, this is another one of those books that was kind of, people were on the fence about. There was a lot of, after I posted my original video, this book, so just to take a step back, this book I actually read prior to the Booker Prize Longlist being announced, and I really enjoyed the book at that time. And since I read the book, I have since done a lot more research on it, and watching other people's booktube videos or even book reviews on Insta and things like that, it started to point out some of like the problems with the book. And just like with anything, I can appreciate what those problems were, but that didn't take away from my reading experience, which is what my personal shortlist is about. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a beautiful story, and the thing that I loved the most about it is that this was one of those books that, as I was reading it, I would take breaks to do research and look up things. And after I read the book, I did extensive research because I was just so fascinated. And what I really liked about this as well is that it brought a story of part of our U.S. history to light that I was never aware of. And it's just another one of those instances where we have a very troubled past in America, and we have done some really crappy things, and they somehow get swept under a rug and nobody ever hears about them. And this was one of them. And I thank Paul Harding for bringing this this history to light, and now there is a ton of people out in the world that know the plight of Malaga Island, and I think that that's wonderful that a book can have that impact and do those things, regardless of it having its problems, and regardless of the fact that Paul Harding took some weird liberties. I still am thankful that I read this, and it is a book that I would highly recommend if you haven't. Just go into it knowing that it is historical fiction. It is not completely based on fact. And just like I did in my review video for this, if you are interested in learning more about the official history of Malaga Island, which this book is based off of, I will put a link to a lecture that an historian did on the people of Malaga Island, and you can kind of see the differences between the fiction in the book and the reality of its residents. So that is my 6th pick of my personal shortlist. I'm excited about tomorrow's announcement. I'm really curious to see what makes it through. So for the 2 books that I have not yet read, All the Little Bird Hearts and How to Build a Boat, I'm kind of, part of me is still kind of hoping maybe that they make the shortlist, only so that I have, there's something to look forward to the shortlist, because if they announce it and they're all books that I've read, I don't want that to deter me from reading these other 2, because the shortlist has already been predicted, or not predicted, but finalized. But I don't think that that's the case. Like, you guys are going to keep me honest, and I'm promising you here, I still owe you a video for How to Build a Boat, All the Little Bird Hearts, A Study for Obedience, and Prophet Song, regardless of them making that list. And yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow, and I will see you guys again for those other 4 videos, and we'll talk next time. Bye.